Can I get a check, 1, 2? Well, ladies and gentlemen, you are looking live over the French countryside, and for the third and final round of the VPRL, from the Viva la VPRL series. It has been a while, so I am going to be a bit rusty. I will apologize in advance. But you join us for the third round of the series here at Le Mans, with everyone driving the Peugeot, I believe this is a Peugeot, LMP challenge car, whatever model this is. I really should have paid more attention to what cars this was. Let's see if we can get some car info. Peugeot 908, of course. We are currently 6.5 minutes now into qualifying here for the third round. CB Matt currently on the pole position for the moment, though everyone I believe has only completed their outlaps at the moment, so we are expecting to see full lap times coming through momentarily. Matt has in fact gone for a bit of a spin on this opening flyer, so he'll get another shot later on. But if we were to jump back up front as the first drivers begin to cross the line to set their lap times, that is, we're going to call him Beetlejuice because that's his online tag, and I'm not entirely sure I know how to pronounce the gentleman's name. So I do apologize. But a 1:30.179, that is a very competitive lap time indeed. Currently sat, I believe, second in the standings. Yes, he is. So he is, this gentleman here, second in the standings. We're going to see online IDs for now. And it is... Oh, is he not here? Folks, I think we are missing the championship leader. Unless he's in B lobby, maybe? Okay, well, that changes up the, Alright, well, these are going to be your championship advocates at the moment. The drivers currently in the first and fourth positions, that is, if I can get back to the nicknames, Alec and Itzkonen. Ikonen. I think it's Ikonen. We're going to go with Ikonen. If I'm pronouncing that completely incorrectly, I do sincerely apologize. Please correct me after the stream. Dean currently sat in the second position, almost 2 seconds behind Ikonen's lap time. At this moment in time, I'm fully expecting Ikonen to run away with the title now that it, again, seemingly our championship leader has not shown up today. Perlouche? French driver. I'm not entirely sure. Unfortunately, I'm not entirely sure if how to pronounce his name, or his online ID anyway. It's not giving me a nickname to go by. I'm going to assume gentleman's name is Perlouche. Qualifying has now come to an end here, so these are everyone's final laps at the moment. As Ikonen rounds his way through the final out of the Porsche curves and heads down to the Ford chicanes to complete his second flying lap. We'll see if he can improve on his lap time at all. As he rockets his way over the line, 3:29.7. That is a benchmark and a half set by him. We shall see if anyone can get closer. And it doesn't look like it for now. Dean might be on with the best chance of anyone to get there, but he's half a second down and currently being held up by Matt. Our other championship protagonist will slot himself up another spot into the third position, but he's almost a second behind Dean, who is now over 2 seconds behind Ikonen. Alec, we're going to shorten it to Alec. I hope that's okay. Again, I apologize. I don't know half of these people's names. So, Ikonen, oh goodness gracious. If anyone in stream chat is able to help me out pronouncing with these names, I'd greatly appreciate it. Ikonen will take pole position by quite a substantial margin, though given the length of this track, I suppose that is a bit more to be expected. Dean will cross the line to start the race from second. Alec will start in third, followed by John in fourth. Azrael will start fifth. Zaskar will start sixth. Stacken will start seventh. Gil will start eighth. Merch will start ninth. Matt will start 10th. DS 11th. And Todd Holla in 12th rounds out our field. A lot of people will have second penalties. Most of that, all of that, I should say, will be from track limits, so that will be something to keep an eye out for all these drivers as we get ready for the race proper. Qualifying will come to a close, and we will get ourselves ready for this 40-minute feature. Excuse me. Similar deal to how the previous series in VPRL was run. 2 mandatory tire compounds to be used today, the Racing Soft and the Racing Medium. All drivers will have to use both tires at least once. We're not expecting there to be any rain, so they shouldn't need to strap on a set of intermediate or wet race tires. Although I believe these drivers have that option should they need it. We will take a small break as we allow these drivers to get themselves situated. And then we will be back in time for the race to begin. Don't go anywhere, folks. We will be back shortly. It appears our drivers are getting ready to, or marking themselves as ready to begin. So it should only be a few more moments' time before we are racing again. Once again, and we do have confirmation, the championship leader coming into tonight's race is unfortunately not here. So that has left the door in the standings wide open. It will be Alec and Ikonen running for the title. Ikonen has a 4-point lead currently at the moment. It is 2 points per position. Though if Alec wins and Ikonen finishes third, Ikonen should still retain the title on the basis of the tiebreaker being the race positions, as cars are now on the grid. 5 lights come on, and we are underway here at the Circuit de la Sarthe. And it's a good start as we have trouble in the back. One car is spun around as Dean and Ikonen charge down into turn 2, into the Dunlop chicane. Massive contact further back as Azrael had to take to the runoff area. He'll have to, most likely will have to give up some spots, or will most certainly be facing some sort of penalty here in a moment. Unless the game possibly deemed that it was avoiding action. It doesn't seem to have a time penalty just yet. He might have gotten away with that as Dean gets a half-second penalty for track limits. He must have run wide coming out of, coming onto the Mulsanne straight. Ikonen now already up to a second lead over Dean, who again has that half-second penalty. He should be able to hold on to that position, though, for now. Azrael has gotten around Alec for third. So as they run, the championship lead would extend by, I believe that's that would be 6 points. That is. So that would give Ikonen a 10-point lead in the championship. Dean, unless I'm reading standings incorrectly, has actually finished 5th in both races so far, leading up to this point. So he's still on for a very strong run today if he can manage to keep hold of that second place. As again, a 40-minute long session here today. So still a long ways to go, as we are still only just now getting to about halfway through lap 1. Everyone charging down into the Mulsanne corner. As we will take a look a little further back, everyone seems to be getting through cleanly. CB Matt has picked up a half-second penalty for track limits as well. As we have a move I'm on the wrong car. Move for 5th position as Miguel passes Zaskar for the 5th position. They remain side by side heading into Indianapolis, and they will sort themselves out as the field begins to approach the slowdown point. So any cars with those half-second penalties will need to serve them here. They should ghost, and they will be out of the way of all the other competing cars as everyone rockets by the penalty point. John has actually picked up his penalty a bit too recently, so he'll have to serve it on the next lap. As we quickly try jumping back up front, making their way through the Porsche curves. Dean's still holding on to second, but Ikonen so far out front, almost a 4-second lead over the entire field now as he comes through the Ford chicanes to complete lap 1. A dominant drive already, and it's only the opening lap. A 3:34.3 from a standing start, no less. My goodness me, he is flying in that Peugeot. Dean continuing on further back. He's going to be in a world of his own, I would imagine. Not quite having the pace of Ikonen, but certainly outpacing everyone else, as Alec has actually gotten up into the third spot. Hold on a minute. We've had a problem somewhere. Azrael has had a horrible issue somewhere. He's dropped out of the podium positions and down into 10th with the half-second penalty. I apologize. I completely missed what the heck happened. A bit of Fox camera coverage, apparently. So he will look to be on a recovery drive now. He certainly should have the pace to hopefully get back up into the top 5 at least before the end of this. As we close in on roughly 5 minutes into this race already. Most of everyone already cleanly through the first the Daytona chicane, as it's now known. Let's jump back up a bit further in the field. Miguel still kind of running on his own at the moment in the 4th position. Zaskar kind of just about hanging on to the back end of him in slipstream range at the moment. He'll close in a bit under the brakes as they come into the 2nd chicane. Oh, Miguel went wide there. This is going to give Zaskar a run. They'll be side by side now, and it'll be a drag race down into the Mulsanne corner. Both drivers giving each other plenty of room, as Zaskar will actually clear him even before halfway down the straight. Miguel will take a look, takes a peek down the inside, but certainly didn't have the momentum. And he will hold station for now, as it looks like John might actually be trying to set up a maneuver on him, though I'm not sure how much that's really going to benefit him, as he does still have that half-second penalty to serve this time by. So it'll be interesting to see. I would imagine the smart move here would be don't make the move, so that way you don't cost yourself time, any more time. Excuse me. Although if Miguel keeps putting himself on a shallow line like that, he might have to attempt or think about the move at least. And he'll be fine now as he comes up to the penalty zone, and will serve that now. And he might hold on to the 7th position. Here comes Matt, looking to make the move, and Matt will actually clear him before they come into the Porsche curves. So cleanly around John after his penalty serving. And that promotes Matt up into the 6th position. Meanwhile, back up ahead, already a 12-second lead, or 12 seconds behind the leader at this time. Still only about a 6th, 7th, 10th gap between 4th and 5th place, that being Zaskar and Miguel. Oh, and Zaskar goes for a spin off the final corner! That's such a horrible spot to lose the back end. Fortunately, it looks as though he should be okay. He does have some minor damage to that front end. Oh, but that's going to drop him a whole heap of places, as he will now be battling Azrael further back. I actually wonder... No, Azrael does not have the... Oh, there was contact further back, and car goes around. That is Stacken has gone around after battling with Azrael. We saw he ran a bit wide going into the Dunlop chicane, and it looked like it was an unfortunate bit of contact. That plus a little bit of wheel spin sent his car around. So he'll have some ground to make up for sure, excuse me. As Azrael will continue on, but he is now most definitely out of slipstream range of everyone else. Zaskar now once again on his own. He might just about be in the slipstream of Merch, so he should be able to hold on to him, onto his gearbox. DS has just picked up a half-second penalty. Once again, that'll probably be for track limits. Exit of the Daytona chicane, really easy to catch drivers out. As John continues to look to try to close in on Matt ahead of him. Not closing in too much at this time. Actually, no, he got a much better exit out of the second chicane there, so my apologies. Miguel has now started to pull away, though. Matt still in the slipstream of Miguel. Excuse me. But certainly slowly starting to fall back just a bit. Well, Miguel is on the softs, though, so that would explain why he's got that slight cornering advantage. As both Matt and John running the medium tire compound at this time. DS also on the softs, Zaskar on the mediums, Murch on the softs. Azrael stacking both on the mediums, and then Todd Holla running the softs. About 20 seconds off the... That was a weird curb there. I'm glad I was able to catch that on camera. How about that? Pulled a bit of a Cadillac at Daytona. Going over the curb. Meanwhile, jumping back up into the middle of the pack a bit more. Once again, I think this will most likely end up being the battle that stays close for most of the race, I would assume. Matt and John, and then we'll see if Miguel, or if they can stay close to Miguel once the tire change comes around. As Matt picks up a half-second penalty, we saw him run a bit wide coming out of the Porsche curves. And so he'll have to serve that next lap around. And not the best line through the Porsche, or through the Ford chicane, excuse me. Still got a better run than Miguel through there, but John has closed up by almost half a second through that exchange. I'd focus in on our leaders. However, Alec is currently 5 seconds ahead of that battle for fourth, which we were just watching. Dean is a further 2 seconds ahead of him, or 7 seconds ahead of Alec, and then now 9 seconds off of Ikonen, who again just running away with it at the moment. The pace he's got running at the moment, though he's on the softs. He is on the softs compared to Dean. So, I won't call it over yet, because 4 seconds a lap is quite... I don't imagine 4 seconds a lap is simply just because of the softs to the mediums. That said, there's a chance for Dean to possibly close in that gap a little bit once the time for pit stops comes. So we shall see what happens with that. Or we will try to keep an eye on that as this race continues to progress. Further back, Miguel. Still only about a one... Oh, actually, no, sorry. We have a battle for fourth at the moment. As John makes the move around the outside of Matt, although he went off track there. I'd imagine he'd get a penalty for that. Actually, the game might not assess one to him because he was side-by-side with Matt. He would have lost time going side-by-side anyway. Regardless, they will continue to drag race side-by-side here as they are side-by-side for 7th as well. That's Zaskar and DS. DS will get that spot. Oh, John's run wide! He's in the gravel! Focusing on too many things at the same time. Oh, boy. Much better. John will lose out on that battle for the moment to Matt, although Matt, I believe, does still have that penalty to serve, so maybe that'll close in a little bit for him. Is Zaskar and DS continue to battle it out for the 7th position. Ooh, little snap on exit there for DS as he enters on Aj. Again, just the back end really stepping out on him as he gets back on power. Losing a little bit of time in doing so. And then the slipstream doing the rest of the work as Zaskar continues to close in a bit, coming into these Porsche curves. A very wide entry. He's completely missed that apex. Still half a second up on this lap. I would imagine most of that coming from slipstream. But he's running very wide in a lot of these corners. Well, I say not exceeding track limits. He just has. So Zaskar will be looking for a way around him, ideally before they even get to the chicanes, as Matt pulls into the pits, as well as Miguel. Matt pitting this early on a set of off a set of mediums. That's bold to take a set of soft tires all the way to the end of this race, if that's what he's trying to do. Matt's going to have to really extend that stint, as Zaskar has gotten back around DS. We will look further ahead. There goes the camera. As we pick up with John, now all on his own at the moment, as I forget who it was just pit. Anyway, back up front again, we will take a look how the front three are running. Ekkonen still all on his own, although the gap now it's still extending, but it is down to, it looks like to be about 1.5 seconds now each lap, instead of the 4 seconds that he pulled on the first lap. So that tire advantage is, I'd say, gone. I believe the soft and medium's now running about the same pace. This continuing extension of his lead now just down to pure pace. As again, we've not seen anyone driving in the 29s or sub 30 even. Looking back at Dean. Smooth and consistent lap times, I'd call that. 32.8, 32.1, 33.7 the last few laps for him. So just biding his time, making sure to not make any mistakes. Pretty much plumb smack in the middle between first and third at the moment in terms of time interval placements. A little snap oversteer for him as he continues searching for lap time. And we'll focus back on Alec, also running on the medium compound tire, same as Dean. Still just looking to bring home a nice solid finish for himself here. As I will take a look at the standing, I believe he's actually, yes, he has. Alec has finished third in both prior races so far. So that is a good effort for him to maintain a 100% podium record. Unfortunately for him, the only two cars to finish ahead of him are the championship leaders. Again, unfortunately, Perloche, who was leading the championship coming into tonight's event, won't be here. As Dean pulls into the pits again, the medium tire being the first to pit. And Alec comes in as well. Well, from the simple I guess in my mind, from the simple standpoint of you want to take the salt, you want to use, you want to make sure you get the most out of the soft tire. I guess that's why they're all pitting now. Obviously, the medium tire is a harder compound compared to the soft, but it also means you get less overall grip from it. as Alec comes out of the pits. Solid 50 seconds off the lead now. Jeez. Ikonen is continuing to run away. Although what this does mean for Dean, who is only 40 seconds off, 41 seconds we'll call it at this point, is he has undercut him. And so if Dean wants any chance of possibly going for the win tonight, he needs to start setting some absolute stormers of a lap time. And those fresh set of softs should do that for him. Because the leader, on the other hand, who is only just now approaching the Mulsanne corner, you can see down there in the bottom left, his tires have absolutely felt it by this point. Now, the good news for him is he's about to be going on to another, well, eventually be going on to a fresh set of medium tires. Although he's running a second and a half slow, or off his fastest lap at the moment. The issue for him is I don't expect those medium tires to go any faster than those softs are currently going right now. Now, perhaps we could see a slight improvement. He might be able to, instead of being... Okay, so he is about a little over a second off of his current best lap time. Even on these extremely old soft tires. Although I still just can't help but think that the medium tire won't just won't give him that same pace. And as we look up at the leaderboard, Dean is still closing. It is not incredibly large chunks of time, although granted, most of that has been done on straight lines. And he has lost almost a full second just in the Porsche curves alone, Ikonen. And do we expect to see him into the pits? No, he stays out again. As you can hear him sliding the back end coming through the Ford chicanes. We will look back to Dean here as he comes into the Porsche curves and just watch how much faster he's able to take these corners. And we'll watch as the leaderboard time comes down as well. It was about 40 seconds. Coming into the Porsche curves, and they've actually kind of stabilized through there. He has gained through the Porsche curves, although probably not as much as one would have expected. And now he's under 40 seconds to the leader. So we shall see how Dean gets on here on his first flying lap. DS now comes into the pits to get off of those, get off of his set of soft tires. Gap now continuing to come down just over 39.5 seconds for the lead. As Dean should be approaching the splits, and he has gone purple. So he could be looking at an upset here, as we are now under 39 seconds to the leader. We will keep an eye on this, you know. This might not be over yet, folks. This might not be over yet. If Dean could get down into possibly the 27s I heard him mention, we will see what sort of lap times he can produce. He wasn't purple in that sector, though. So, in the run through, what is that corner? Oh, good. I should know the name of this corner. I have wrecked the hell out of cars in that corner before. Coming onto the Mulsanne Straight. What is that? What is that? Folks, I'm blanking on the corner names, unfortunately. Right. Before I'm gonna have an aneurysm if I keep trying to think about this too much. Dean continuing to close now, just about 38.5 seconds. Big snap of oversteer for him though. Still up on his personal best lap time though, which is good to see. But he's still got to bring that down a whole heck of a lot more. Although I'd expect him to make some serious gains on that lap time through the Porsche curves. So we'll jump up. Speaking of the Porsche curves, 2.5 seconds now. His tires are cooked. Ikonen realistically will need to be thinking about a pit stop this time by. Otherwise, he's opening himself up to an undercut from Dean. And he does pit this time as well. Needs to be careful not to wreck on his way in. He has made it. And will be looking to make his pit stop momentarily. We will jump back a little further back as well. Battle for third, actually. Heating up, possibly. Or no, sorry. Alec has actually gone around Murch, who is yet to make his pit stop. That is not Murch catching Alec. So my apologies on that. Matt has pit. He will be looking to secure the 4th position once the pit cycles go through. Zaskar in 6th place. Has pit, as has John, and as Azrael? Yes, Azrael is also pit. So Ikonen is out of the pits now. Now that gap when he came into the pits was 11 seconds. Is now under 8.5. It might actually be 8 seconds. Just over 8 seconds. Yes. Yeah, just about 8 seconds, we'll call it. So Dean has caught up by a pretty substantial margin. He has brought it down into the 31s. Now, with just under, or just past 14 minutes remaining left in this race, is there enough time for him to catch up to Ikonen and knock out that 8? No, that gap is growing actually, isn't it? Ikonen, despite what I had mentioned previously, is pulling away slightly. It was at 2.2, 2.3. It is now already back up to 2.8. So perhaps Ikonen can get the lap time he needs out of those medium tires. We shall see if Dean has anything left in the tank. If he doesn't, second place is still a very good result. Although that said, he's actually on a pretty poor lap at the moment, already almost a second down. So that would probably explain a lot of the time loss. If he can manage to get his lap times into the 30s, I think he might have a chance. But he's going to need to be on flyer after flyer after flyer after flyer all the way to the end of this. And realistically, I don't see the tires hanging on long enough for that. So looking further back, Murch, oh boy, you are really feeling it on those tires, buddy. Matt, his teammate, is closing in on him at the moment. We'll keep an eye on this battle for the moment. As Murch and Matt continue their way down towards Indianapolis. A very shallow line into that corner there, as Murch is actually going to let his teammate go. Very respectful racing from the pair of them. As Matt will make his way on by with great ease. Jumping a little further back, Azrael closing in, slowly but surely closing in on John, running in the 7th position. And he's got absolutely no one out behind him, as Miguel seems to have gone for a spin. Or he ran wide there. So he will lose a bit more time as well. DS also seems to have had an issue at some point, although he did just pit this lap, so that could also possibly explain that. And then Stacken and oh my goodness, Todd. Where the hell did that penalty come from? As we will jump back further up, Merch has jumped into the pits finally. Azriel continuing to close in. Just at a 1:32.1. Actually, is that faster than Dean's fastest lap? No, Dean is actually just at a 3:30. So the Porsche curbs he needed the previous time around, he's actually brought that down to 7 seconds. Okay, you know what, folks? Yeah, I need to be keeping a close eye on this battle for the lead. Dean has found the pace he needs, setting purple sector times. He could be on for this win still, as we have 10 minutes remaining. It's a tall order, but it is possible. It is certainly possible. So we will definitely keep our eye on that as this race winds down. Meanwhile, Zaskar kind of running on his own. Azriel in 6th has actually already gotten around John, and we'll see if he can, like I said earlier, claw his way back up into the top 5 after a very unfortunate scruffy start to his race. Started from the 4th position, got up into 3rd at the start, and then a spin and a bit of contact dropped him all the way down to pretty much plumb last. So a great recovery drive from him as he seeks his way back up into the top 5. Alec, our other championship protagonist, in the fight that was hopefully going to transpire, seems to be very well situated into the 3rd place. Dean has knocked out another second. It's now down to 6th. This is where he needs to make up a lot of his time, right here in the Porsche curves. So keep your eyes on that leaderboard, and let's just see if he can really bring that lap time down. A 10th already through the first turn. 4 tenths up on his personal best. Flirting with the track limits coming out of the Porsche curves. Not 3 tenths out of it. We'll see if he can get a little bit more here in the Ford chicanes, if he can put it together. He and Ikonen are actually pretty good hold pace through there. But he does set the fastest lap of the race at 29.4. A very impressive lap. He's now under 6 seconds. But I think he's going to need a little more than that if he's going to get the win, if he wants the win. He also can't afford any time penalties. So he's got to keep an eye out for those. Under 5.5 seconds. You can hear those tires squealing as he pushes for every single 10th of a second as he rockets his way onto the Mulsanne straight. 5.4 the gap. This time last lap it was about 7 seconds. So we'll call it a second and a half with 2, maybe 3 laps remaining. If he can keep this pace up, as his tires continue to degrade, we might, and I say might, we might see a battle for the lead. We might. But it will be a very tall order. And a equally impressive drive if he can pull it off. The gap did extend coming out of the second chicane, although he had a much better entry and an equally good exit there. And maybe not as nice of an exit as he would have liked. But it is back under 5.5 for the time being. We'll see if he can close up any on Ikonen, whose tires are barely degraded at all, frankly. Those mediums holding on a treat. So that is the other thing to consider. Ikonen, while he doesn't have the outright pace of the soft tires, his tires aren't going to degrade nearly as fast, and he's also put them on much later than Dean has. Dean, remember, pitted fairly early into the run with goodness, I want to see, he had put them on at 17 minutes into this race. Gap now down under 5.2 seconds. It is closing. Realistically, I think he needs it to be ideally under 4 out of the Porsche curves here. So we'll see how he gets on through here. Again, you can hear those tires squealing in pain. Only a 10th down on his best lap, though, so he does have the pace to do it. Gap now 4.8. He's taken another 0.3 out, or half a second actually, in through the Porsche curves. Again, needs to be careful not to get hurt by track limits. Very nice through the Ford chicanes. 29.7 that time by. A 29.7 to a 30.6. So not quite a second that lap. But we also don't have 5 laps remaining. So he will need to he will need to find more time. As it looks like he has found a little bit more through that opening sector. That seems to be Dean's strong point, is that first little sector to the lap, through turn 1, the Dunlop chicane, out through, once again, I'm forgetting that corner name. It's that corner that Alec just went through. So I don't know if anyone's watching in chat can inform me of the corner name that I keep forgetting. But this one right here. If someone could inform me on the corner name, because I just can't remember it for the life of me, I would greatly appreciate it. But back up front, gap now 4.2 seconds. And I think from this point, including this lap, we will have 2 laps remaining, as there's 3 minutes 30 to go now. So yes, we should have a lap and a half from here to go. So if Dean wants to do it, he's going to need to put together an absolute stormer of a lap. Although he's just set another purple sector. He wants this, folks. He wants it. He wants it. He's not going down without a fight. 4 seconds the gap, with a lap and a half remaining. Or just under a lap and a half remaining. Ikonen, again, those medium tires, not anywhere near as fast as he would have liked. 7/10 down on his personal best, which is a 29.9. And again, Dean, we saw he was up. He was a 10th up. Could we see Dean get a 28 here? Holding steady now. I don't think we'll see a 28 out of him, given the state of his tires. But the gap now, 3 seconds. He's taken a full second out of him in those Porsche curves. Second and a half now. 2.6 the gap. Folks, this isn't over. As we approach what frankly is the white flag. 1 lap to go here at Le Mans. As there is a minute and a half remaining, this is the final lap. Ikonen holds a 2.7 second lead. Folks, this is heating up. I don't count Dean out just yet. If he can string together one really good sector, or one really good lap, he could be on for the win still. The question is, will those tires hang on? He had a little snap of oversteer. Oh, he's down by 4/10 this lap. That's not what you want to see for this. As time has expired, this is the final lap. 2.5 seconds. Azriel will come home 6th. Was 2 seconds back from Zaskar, who probably only just made it across the line to start this lap. Same goes for Matt, as those two will fight for... Oh, Matt's ran wide! He's going to get a time penalty for that, surely! Zaskar's going to get by for 4th. Meanwhile, back up front, gap now 2.6. He's taken, I believe he's taken 2/10 out of it, but he needs a lot more than that. Will it come down to the Porsche curves? Can Dean get close enough to make something happen into the Ford chicane? Oh, he didn't have a good exit through there, though. He did not have a good exit out of the second chicane. Gap now back up to 2.9. It's going to be 3 seconds now as they come into the Mulsanne corner. Ikonen fighting for his life, trying to seal the victory. He's already got the championship. Can he hold on to the win? Gap coming down slightly. Dean got a better exit out of the Mulsanne corner. As he continues to close in, he needs an absolutely monster of a final few sectors here. Only a few miles to go. 2.9 the gap. Can he close up enough? Oh, he's taken almost half a second out of him through Indianapolis. And he's taken another 2 out of Arnage. This is still on potentially. 2.2 as they come into the Porsche curves. This is where Dean needs to make up all the gap. Can he do it? Let's ride on board with him as he does it. Down to gear as he immediately gets back on throttle in 5th. Apex to apex. Can he close in time? 2.2. 2.3. I don't think he's got it. The tires are gone. Oh, he had to lift so much through there. It's not going to happen. So much effort, so much work. It's not going to be enough. But oh my goodness me, what a fight back it was. Ikonen will round the final corner. He plants the power nicely. He will win it here at Circuit de la Sarthe. But hats off to Dean, who brought back an 11-second gap down to just 2.2 at the end of it. Oh my goodness, what a charge! And wow, how did he make those tires last? An insane charge to the end. What a final stint on those softs for Dean. But once again, hats off to the winner. Ikonen will bring home not just the race, but the title for the Viva la VPRL series. Folks, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you will join us next time for Season 8 of VPRL. I don't believe I've been given the information as to what the next series is, but be sure to join the VPRL Discord, Grove Street, SimGrid. You know where to look. They will have all the relevant information for whatever the upcoming series is whenever it happens. Congratulations, GG's to all of our drivers. It was an absolute blast of a race to watch, especially from my perspective. Thank you all once again for tuning in, and I hope to see you all next time. Thank you, and take care. Good night.